Every single night, at precisely 3:17 a.m., Emma would jolt awake, screaming. It wasn't monsters under the bed or ghosts in the closet that haunted her. No, it was something far more terrifying. It was the sight of her own death. The dream was always the same, a chillingly familiar scene. She found herself standing alone in a dimly lit hospital hallway. The fluorescent lights overhead would flicker erratically, casting long, dancing shadows. The air was thick with the sterile, sharp scent of disinfectant that always made her nose burn. And at the very end of that long, desolate hallway, there was a mirror. As Emma reluctantly walked towards it, her own reflection would remain eerily still. A frozen image of a stranger. The woman in the mirror had skin as pale as chalk, eyes that were completely devoid of life, and a deep, gruesome scar slashed across her neck. Just as she'd get close enough to see the horrifying details, a flatline sound would suddenly echo through the empty hall. Beep. Bay. And just like that, she'd wake up, gasping for breath, her hand instinctively clutching her throat, feeling for a wound that wasn't there. For a while, she tried to brush it off. They're just nightmares, she'd whisper to herself, trying to calm her racing heart. But the dreams wouldn't stop. Instead, they began to evolve. Each night, new, unsettling details would emerge from the shadows of her subconscious. A specific date circled in red on a calendar, hanging on the hospital wall. A nurse with a horribly burned face who would stare at her without blinking. A man's raspy voice whispering her name from just behind her shoulder. But when she'd turn, no one was there. Then one morning, while brushing her teeth, Emma saw something that made her blood run cold. She glanced at her phone, and the date flashing on the screen was the exact same one she had seen in her dream. Today, a wave of pure panic washed over her. She immediately called in sick to work, locked every single door and window in her apartment, and even covered every mirror with a sheet, terrified of what she might see. But you can't run from fate. At exactly 3:17 in the afternoon, her phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. With a trembling hand, she answered it. A woman's faint, ghostly voice whispered from the other end, "Emma, you're late." And in that instant, every light in her apartment went out, plunging her into total darkness. From the other room, she heard the sharp, violent sound of a mirror cracking. She turned around slowly, her heart pounding against her ribs like a drum. And there, standing in the shadows, was herself, her reflection, bleeding from the neck and smiling a wide, sinister smile. The very last thing Emma heard was that